Before versus after Tren. All right, another fucking kid on gear, bro. Oh my god. Guys, today we're going to be going over this video. I just saw this today. This is a fresh fucking video I found on TikTok. Now, this is getting seriously concerning because a lot of you guys know I react to videos like this on my fucking Instagram at Diagofit. Go follow me there. But this one is just absolutely insane, bro. And I said in my latest video, this is literally real life Hunger Games, bro. Like society is going in a bad direction with this shit, bro. I don't know how gear found its way to TikTok and how these kids found out about this shit and why it's trending. I don't know, but it's bad. So let's watch this video together, guys. This kid is absolutely balls to the wall reckless. First off, do not emulate this shit. But let's watch this. Before versus after Tren. Okay, so it's a normal ass kid, right? Normal ass fucking kid, bro. He's definitely a little fit in his before, for sure. And then his after, bro. Like, what is this, bro? What is this? This kid transformed his whole fucking physique before and after Tren. Now look, so that's the video. Here's why it's absolutely fucking insane, bro. So we look at his page, Zach Diana is his fucking tag. Now, this kid speaks Spanish or another fucking language. I don't understand how the fuck to read this. It says 19 años, 19 years old. I'm guessing, bro. So he's a fucking kid. Now, let's look at the cycle that he's running because he did drop the cycle. And boom. Here's the cycle, bro. It says Zach Diana cycle inhumane. I don't know if that's Spanish, but this cycle definitely is inhumane, bro, because you will literally croak taking this shit. This is a suicide cycle. If you're reading this cycle on the screen, this is a Boston Lloyd stack. This shit is absolutely fucking, like, do not take this cycle, guys. Unless you want a one-way ticket to the ER, you should not touch this shit. Now, let's review the cycle together because I did react to it on Instagram, but of course the reels are only like a minute long there, so I couldn't really do much reviewing. Now, let's look at this shit. So Test E, he's running Test E at 2,000 milligrams a week. I looked up what Semaine was. It's a week. So 2,000 milligrams a week, that's 2 grams of test a week. Tren 8's a gram a week. Boldenone, which is EQ, that's 1,200 mgs a week, so over a gram of that shit as well. Dihydroboldenone, another form of boldenone, SIP, 600 milligrams a week. Treslone Ace Ment, adding Ment on top of fucking Tren, bro. 700 milligrams a week. Gestanolone Pro, which is mass, 800 milligrams a week. Anadrol, 150 milligrams a day, I'm guessing. He's taking Superdrol 50 mgs a day, Halo at 60 a day, Winstrol 100 a day, Methyltren, bro, 1 milligram a day, insulin 20 IUs post-training, that's 20 IU daily, HGH 20 IU daily, IGF-1 150 micrograms daily, Clen 160 micrograms daily, and T3 75 micrograms daily. Now you tell me, bro. Does that cycle sound safe to take? And especially for a 19-year-old, absolutely not, bro. Not even an Olympia caliber competitor is going to take a cycle like this. This cycle, first off, makes no sense. Second off, it's a death cycle, bro. You're combining, let me count the orals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 fucking orals, bro. 7 orals in one cycle. This is asking for liver damage. Now, if you're taking Halo by itself or Superdrol by itself, that's enough liver toxicity to put your liver into that dangerous range, bro. Just taking one of these. He's stacking 7 potent as fuck orals on top of each other. I am going to be very surprised if this kid doesn't come out of here with liver failure, bro, if this cycle is real. This is absolutely insane. Now, also, he's stacking a couple 19 orals on top of each other. Horrific idea for fucking gyno and increased prolactin and estrogen, but that's the least of this kid's worries, bro. He's looking at every massive horrific side in the book. Kidney failure, liver failure, blood clots, cardiac arrest, cardiovascular issues. Like, whatever you can think of that could possibly go wrong, that's going to happen taking a cycle like this. So let's just review the cycle. So he takes Test D, couple grams. a week. If you're taking this alone, obviously it's a very high dose, but that's doable. Your body can at least handle that shit if you are an advanced user. 2 grams a test is not the end of the fucking world. There are people taking 4 that I know of, so 2 is fine. But again, that's for an advanced user. If you're new, don't do this shit. Now, you're going to see crazy results on a couple grams of test a week. Of course, you're going to see a lot of water bloat, though. You're also going to see a massive influx of estradiol from this dose of test. So the higher the dose you take, of course, the more sides you're going to run into. That's why you should always start low and ramp your way up. Do not just start at a high dose. Don't start at 500. Don't start at a gram. Start low and then work your way up to that point. You should never just hop into a crazy dose off the rip. So that's the first. That's literally just the very start of the cycle. Now, for Tren, he's taking a gram a week. Absolutely fucking insane, bro. Tren at a gram a week. I've done this before and I couldn't fucking handle myself for over 3 weeks. I had to get off. I mean, this is absolutely fucking insane. You're going to run into every side in the book with this alone. So this is fucked up. Keep in mind, if you're going to push the dose on Tren, you can definitely run into an increase of blood thickness, an increase in RBC, hematocrit, and hemoglobin levels, also increase in prolactin, also increase with kidney stress, also an increase with pretty much everything, bro. So Tren is one of the most potent compounds you can take. It does deliver crazy gains and it delivers crazy effects, but it's potent. It comes with a fucking cost. So keep that in mind. Now he's taking Bodybuilding as well. This is also going to increase his RBC, hematocrit, and hemoglobin levels. That's why you should never stack a high dose of EQ on top of Tren. This is not a good idea to do at all. I'm taking another ester for the Bodybuilding. Pretty pointless to do that shit, but it's just added dosage that's unnecessary as fuck. Then he adds Ment as well. Pretty fucking potent compound too. Another 19 nor. This is going to boost prolactin. Ment is a great bulking compound when taken in a small dose. 700 milligrams is crazy as fuck. That's a lot of oil in itself. So I don't know how the fuck this kid is pinning, because with this amount of oil, he's taking like over 7 to 8 grams of gear a week. He's definitely pinning multiple times a day, like at least, bro, I'd say at least like 5 cc to 6 cc a day to get all this oil into his system every week. So again, fucking insane. Now the max he's taking 800 mgs a week, pretty standard fucking dose for an intermediate user. The Anadrol 150 mgs daily, pretty standard as well. Superdrol 50 standard, Halo 60. Definitely a little high for the Halo testing. But again, this cycle doesn't make sense at all. When I'm giving my critiques on this shit, I'm talking about if you're going to take this individually in a normal intermediate stack. Like let's say you're going to stack Anadrol on top of test with like NPP or some shit. That's what I'm referring to when I say the dose is standard. Nothing about this cycle is standard, because this cycle doesn't make fucking sense. So the Anadrol standard, Superdrol, Halo. Halo's very fucking potent. You're gonna get massive aggression. Roid Rage is literally Halo tested. So if you take Halo, just keep in mind there's a big possibility that you're gonna have bad Roid Rage. And if you're already prone to irritability and anger before you hop on this shit, then just keep that in mind, because this can throw you over the edge very fast. It's what happened to me multiple times taking this shit, so keep that in mind. Stanozolol, Winstrol, 100 mgs daily, standard dose as well. Methyl Tren, you should never touch this shit. This is oral Tren. Very fucking potent. It is an oral, and you do have to process that through the liver. It is going to be so goddamn toxic, and you can get massive liver damage from taking this compound alone. Now, oral Tren, this is Roid Rage in a fucking bottle as well as fucking Halo, bro. The two go hand in hand. So again, this cycle's leading me to believe that it's not fucking real, because if he's stacking Tren, methyl Tren, and Halo on top of each other in one stack at crazy doses, this kid's gonna end up killing someone, bro, because that's just, no one's gonna be able to handle that shit, dude. Now, he's taking insulin as well. Insulin is very, very dangerous, because if you don't know what you're doing, specifically as a kid, hopping on this shit, it's very easy to go hypo on this fucking compound, which means that you can literally just start nodding off, okay? And you can just croak on the spot. And this happens to a lot of people in bodybuilding comps and shit. So you have to be very careful with this shit. You can literally just die on the spot taking insulin. So, and 20 IU is insane of a dose for insulin. So yeah, that's just not gonna fucking happen either. HGH 20 IU a day, crazy dose for growth. I mean, it makes sense if he was gonna take that high of a dose. Considering his transformation, he transformed very fast. If you look back at his page, we're going to do that in a second, but he transformed very quick. In about 5 months, he completely transformed his physique. But with growth, typically you want to start out at like 2 to 4 IU daily as a new user, then ramp your way up. 10 is getting to that point where you're going to get increased insulin sensitivity. 20 is overkill as fuck. It's not the worst thing in the goddamn book to take a crazy amount of growth. As long as you're getting your bloods done, you know where your insulin is at, then you're going to be good. But 20 IU is just absolutely insane for his age. IGF 150 micrograms a day, pretty standard clen. 160 micrograms, this is a stimulant, very potent shit. If you stack this on top of other potent compounds, you're increasing your risk of heart problems, cardiovascular problems. This compound can fuck you up really bad. A lot of people overlook this shit. And clen is a stimulant, so if you take too much, 160 micrograms is a lot, then you are running a massive risk of heart palpitations. You're running a massive risk of like just paranoia, anxiety, anything that comes with a crazy stimulant, and also like, again, cardiovascular problems. So keep that shit in mind. I would start out a very low dose of this. When I took it, I started at 20 micrograms a day, and I worked my way up to 200 at one point. Now, when I was at 200, I was having a horrific time on this shit, and that was just with clen, along with a couple other compounds that were pretty mild. So keep that in mind. T3, 75 micrograms, pretty fucking standard as well. You always want to stack that with clen. You don't always want to, but if you're going to take clen, I highly suggest that you look into stacking T3. As long as your blood work shows that you need that, because you're going to need that shit. Now, let's look at this kid's page real quick. So, if you look back through his page at the very beginning, you can see where he started about a few months ago. And then you look at him now, completely altered his physique. So, obviously, he's on something. I don't know if the cycle's legit or not, but obviously, he's taken something, right? If we look at the cycle once again, if he really were to be taking all this again, I think he'd be in the hospital in a week. But let's say he was really taking this cycle. Combining a lot of these compounds together just doesn't make sense. So typically when you're putting together a cycle, you want to make sure that you're either designing it around a bulk or around a shred. You don't want to be overlapping compounds that are going to be synergistic with a bulk or a shred, because then you're just not making progress. You want to excel in one avenue, whether you're bulking and packing size. You want to make sure that your cycle aligns with that, so you pack on as much fucking muscle as you possibly can. That's what you want to do. You don't want to get caught up with trying to bulk and shred at the same time and stack compounds like that, because then you're stressing your body out. You're not going to make as much progress, and so you only have a certain amount of blast in the tank in terms of your cycles. That's why you always want to maximize every single one of them. If you're just half-assing and you're kind of like staying in the middle, making slow progress on your blast, just know that there's going to be a point in time where eventually you're not going to be able to run a cycle again, just because of the sides you're running into. There's a point where everyone has to come off. You can't just do this forever. So if that point comes too soon, then you're going to regret the cycle decisions that you made. I regret some of mine. I am getting to that point where I'm probably going to end my enhancement career pretty soon, just cruise TRT. But you don't want to regret the cycles you took. You want to make sure that every single one of them was effectively utilized to its max potential. You don't want to just waste fucking blast. And that's what you're doing if you're overlapping bulking and shredding compounds together. Yes, you'll look good in the moment because you're going to be packing size while keeping a low body fat percentage. That's everyone's dream, right? But you're not maximizing its potential. So if you just work on one avenue, whether it's a bulk or a shred, I promise you're going to make so much more fucking progress in the long run. You're going to pack on way more size. You're going to end up being able to shred down and then maintain that for the long haul. You're going to give your body the capacity, and you're going to know mentally what to do, and your body's going to get adjusted to shredding. So it's going to be a lot easier to do it in the future. Now, for the compound selection, so Test and Tren, those alone, that's like a shred. So, and then he adds EQ on top of that. Now, when you're running equipoise, you typically want to deploy this during a bulk, just because you're going to get an increase in hunger stimulation. Endurance is going to go up, which is pretty cool. But the hunger stim effect makes it not the best choice to deploy during a shred, because obviously during a shred, you're in a caloric deficit. If you're an overeater or you're just overweight in general, you don't want to feel hungry. You want to minimize that hunger as much as you possibly can. So that's why EQ probably isn't the best to deploy during a shred. So that, again, always deploy EQ during bulk. That would be my typical standard on what I do with it. Now with Ment, great bulking compound. This is going to add on a bunch of fucking size to your frame. It's going to pack on hell of fucking strength too, but just keep in mind your biomarkers. You want to make sure everything's in place because this can be a little potent with higher doses. 700 is overkill as fuck, but you don't want to stack Ment on top of a shredding cycle. So you don't want to add this to a shred because you can definitely run into a lot of water bloat and some fat gain running Ment, specifically the water bloat effect. This is very common. So, and of course, when you're shredding, you don't want to pack on crazy amounts of water. You want to be as dry and hard as possible. So keep that in mind. Now, Mast, typical shredding compound, increased fat metabolism, increased muscle hardness. Anadrol, typical bulking compound. This is going to increase strength and lean mass through the fucking roof, similar to Ment, but Ment's injectable. Anadrol is going to be an oral. I fucking love Anadrol. It's mild, but it does come with some liver toxicity. So you guys can kind of get the gist of what's going on here. There's like, I'm listing off a bulking compound and then a shredding compound. He's literally taking like everything in the book. He's taking a little bit of everything, which is not what you want to do. This is a one-way ticket to end your enhancement journey way too soon or just end up in the goddamn hospital. Superdrol. Superdrol is great. Now, here's the thing. I experienced a low liver toxicity taking Superdrol. It was definitely potent, but I personally experienced low liver toxicity. Now, for most people, you definitely will run into very potent sides of Superdrol if you start increasing the dose. It is going to increase strength massively. This compound is going to be excellent for that, but you typically want to deploy this during a bulk as well. You don't want to deploy this during a shred. It just can get very potent, and if you're feeling fatigued on this compound, it's probably because your liver is being very, very stressed. So always get your bloods before taking this compound in specific. Everyone's going to react differently to it, but just keep in mind that a lot of people do run into very bad sides from Superdrol. Halotestin, it's going to be excellent for like if you're a power lifter, if you need increased aggression and just that boost of strength in the moment. Halo's the way to go. It's going to massively increase aggression. It's going to make you sometimes just fly off the fucking handle. Again, that's what happened to me when I took this shit. But that the reason I say it's good for a powerlifter is because like in the moment when you're taking it, you're just going to be like a crazy motherfucker hitting those fucking weights, dude. So besides that, I don't really see a reason to take this compound. It's not really beneficial for size. I mean, it does pack size, but it's not going to be as beneficial as other compounds. So I'd say the main reason you want to take Halo is for like additional fullness right before a show, or if you're going to a powerlifting meet, need that aggression and strength ASAP, then you want to take Halo. Winstrol, excellent compound to shred. I love this fucking compound. It increases your endurance, fat metabolism, and your strength will go up too on this compound. Great performance enhancer with Winstrol. Methyltren, I never suggest you take this shit. It's oral Tren. Insulin, never suggest you take this shit. Growth can be good, but you have to take this for a long time if you're going to take a standard dose and be healthy with it. So if you're going to take 2 to 4 IUs a day, it'll take like roughly 6 months to see any type of result. Now, it can help with your skin, rejuvenation of your skin. It can help with just getting an overall well-being. It can make you look younger. And it definitely can help pack size, but it's a long road to do this. It's not just going to happen quick, which definitely can be good if you want consistent gains that you're going to keep at the end. Growth is the way to go, but it is going to take a little longer than normal. Now, if you are a very advanced bodybuilder, then obviously you've done all the cycles that you possibly can. Growth is your next avenue that you want to go down. And if you're really trying to push it, I'd say 10 IU is going to be like a gold point to be at. This will pack size quick, but it does come with its own risks and sides. So just keep that shit in mind. That's for a very advanced user. If you're new, start low and you'll be good. IGF-1, great fucking choice, bro. Similar to growth, it's going to increase your growth hormone levels. Very good compound, low on sides. If you keep the dose mild, 150 micrograms is definitely light. So that is a great compound to take. Clen is going to increase fat metabolism. It is going to allow you to burn more fat very quick. It is going to increase thermogenesis in your body, which means that your body is going to naturally be hotter. So you're just going to be overall like a higher temperature all throughout the entire fucking day, even when you're sleeping. That's why you burn the excess water weight and fat off your frame. This can get very dangerous if you overdo it and you don't know what you're doing, because if you take too high of a dose, once it's in your system, you can't get it out, dude. And if your body temperature is going too high, you can overheat. And that's why the compound can get a little sketchy, because again, once something's in your system, you gotta wait for it to get out. You can't just click a fucking button and have it out of your system. Like, you gotta ride that shit out. So if your body temperature is going up and it keeps fucking going up and you can't do anything about it, that's when you are running into a massive problem. And that's why I always say that Clen can get a little sketch. Now, T3 is going to be something you add on top of Clen just as side prevention if your thyroid is getting decreased. But that's the reason why you'd want to deploy that. Besides that, that's pretty much the rundown of the blast. Now, this guy is completely in Spanish, his whole fucking page. But this is not a good idea, guys. Please don't replicate this shit. I hate to make a video like this on these people, but I want you to know what not to do. Because, look, Boston Lloyd used to do shit like this. If you don't know who that is, he was a prime figure in the fitness industry. He took crazy cycles, and he was very open about it too. Now, the reason why he's such a prominent figure is because he's the first guy that really was open about it. So a ton of fucking people back in the day and now more than ever are taking crazy cycles similar to Boston Lloyd, if not worse. But they're just hiding it. They're not coming out and telling you the truth. So when you see a cycle like this, I shouldn't say like this because this is crazy for anybody, but when you see cycles like Boston Lloyd takes, you're probably like, holy fuck, that's insane. That's because everyone's lying, bro. Because like, if you knew the amount of people that were taking crazy cycles like that, your mind would kind of get blown and you'd start wondering what the fuck is real and what's not. Because there are a ton of people, the majority of people are taking crazy cycles. They just aren't telling you the truth. So that's why on my page, I try to be as transparent as possible. Sometimes when I tell my story about the cycles I've taken, the crazy cycles I've done, the sides I've experienced, people are like, you're fucking retarded, bro. Like, you're gonna die young. It's like, no, bro, I'm just telling you the truth. So I've run into massive side effects. I know how to mitigate them. I'm not a goddamn retard like I was when I started. So I'm just being transparent out here. I wish that's how everyone else was in the industry, but that's not how it's gonna be. And that's never how it's gonna fucking be. So that's my 2 cents on this in specific. I wanted to make a video on it just because it's absolutely fucking insane. Don't repeat this shit, guys. If you need help with your cycle, need guidance, hit me up on IG, DM me at Diagofit on there, or just click the link in the description and we'll get the fuck to work. But besides that, like and subscribe. I'm going to be posting content daily. I'm going to try at least. And I'll see you guys in the next video.